What if I told you that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles wouldn't even exist without Marvel's Daredevil? And no, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about a simple inspiration. I mean, they were literally and exactly in the same alleyway, mutated by the very same radioactive accident. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another insane, mind-blowing video here on Comic Station. Look, we all love the Ninja Turtles, four mutant brothers who are obsessed with pizza and kick butt in the sewers of New York. But what 99% of people have absolutely zero clue about is that the initial concept of the Ninja Turtles was actually a genius parody and a joke on Marvel's dark comics. Back in 1984, when the creators were drafting the very first version of the Turtles on paper, they decided to connect their universe directly to the darkest corner of the Marvel universe. Today in this video, we're going to break down the hidden connection between the TMNT universe and Marvel piece by piece, from that radioactive canister that blinded Matt Murdock and then spilled all over four little baby turtles, to the crazy similarities between the ninja clans fighting in the shadows of New York. Today, I'm dropping facts and comparisons that will completely change the way you look at both franchises forever. So right now, before we dive into the first part and check out that shared radioactive accident, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below. Who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? Alright guys, let's dive into the first and most interesting piece of evidence in this case, the shared origin story. It all starts in the Marvel Universe, back in 1964, when the very first issue of Daredevil was published. In this comic, a young guy named Matt Murdock sees a speeding truck heading straight toward a blind old man. Matt pulls off a hero move and saves the old man, but one of the radioactive canisters from the back of the truck flies off, hits Matt Murdock right in the eyes, and blinds him. That exact radioactive substance spikes his remaining five senses to a godlike level, and Matt becomes Daredevil. We all knew this part of the story. But this is where things get interesting. 20 years later, in 1984, two comic-loving buddies named Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird were creating the Ninja Turtles comic, and they thought to themselves, man, what if we tell the rest of that famous Marvel accident? In the very first issue of TMNT, they recreated that exact Daredevil accident scene, meaning the radioactive canister doesn't just stop after striking Matt Murdock's face and blinding him. It bounces off Matt's face, keeps flying through the air, and smashes right into a glass bowl held by a young boy who had just bought four baby pet turtles. The bowl shatters, and the turtles, along with that Marvel radioactive canister, fall into the storm drain and slide all the way down into the New York sewers. The radioactive goo that spilled all over the turtles was the exact same green liquid that blinded Daredevil. So tactically speaking, if that Marvel truck hadn't crashed, we wouldn't have any pizza-loving mutant Ninja Turtles today. Now guys, did you think the connection between these two worlds stopped at just that radioactive canister? Absolutely not. Now that the turtles have mutated in the sewers, they need an enemy hiding in the shadows of New York. To create these villains, the creators of the Ninja Turtles went straight back to Marvel's Daredevil comics. In the Marvel Universe, Daredevil is constantly fighting a highly terrifying ancient and terrorist ninja clan that controls the New York underworld. What is this ninja clan's name in Marvel? The Hand.
Ninjas who wear red outfits and specialize in assassinations and stealth. So, when the creators of the Ninja Turtles wanted to design the main enemy group for Shredder, they thought, how about we make a sharp, witty joke using this Marvel group's name? They went ahead and named Shredder's ninja clan The Foot. Yep, you heard that right. They literally named their villainous group The Foot, a completely direct, blatant, and obvious parody of Marvel. It's the hand versus the foot. The creators of the Turtles, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, were officially trolling the dead serious comic book industry of that era with these satirical moves. But it gets even crazier when you realize this similarity wasn't just some surface-level wordplay. The structure, the behavior, and the overall vibe of these two groups will completely melt your brain. Let me break down a few insane facts for you that you've probably never heard anywhere else. In Marvel's dark classic comics, the ninjas of the Hand Clan knew magic. Whenever they fought Daredevil and got killed, their bodies would instantly turn into ash and vanish into thin air. Why did Marvel do this? It solved two major problems. First, it left Matt Murdock, Daredevil, with zero physical evidence for the NYPD. And second, it automatically censored the comic so they wouldn't have to show explicit blood and gore, keeping it kid-friendly. Now, flip over to the TMNT universe. In those early, brutally dark 1984 comics, which were absolutely not made for kids, being completely black and white and ultra-violent, the ninjas of the Foot Clan attacked the Turtles with the exact same fighting style, the same shurikens and katanas, and the exact same swarm and attack strategy. But here's the hilarious plot twist. Later on, when the TMNT animated series and TV cartoons were being developed, the creators needed to secure a broadcasting license for kids. To avoid censoring Leonardo slicing and dicing with his swords, they turned the Foot Clan ninjas into robotic soldiers. They used Marvel's exact same loophole, but this time with a robotic twist, so the Turtles could effortlessly chop them to pieces on television without anyone batting an eye. Even if you look at Shredder's actual character design, you see the absolute peak of Marvel inspiration. The spiked armor, the terrifying metal mask, and how he lurks in the shadows of New York skyscrapers. With this clever long-term copy-pasting, the creators basically made it clear to every comic book geek that the Foot is just a comedic yet incredibly badass shadow of Marvel's The Hand. Except this time, instead of dealing with a blind superhero, they're stuck with 4 pizza-eating Ninja Turtles. Alright guys, so far we know the radioactive canister was the same, and the ninja clans were carbon copies of each other. But come on, can 4 little baby turtles turn into professional ninjas without a proper mentor? No way! They needed a master to teach them martial arts and the ways of ninjutsu. Take a wild guess who the creators looked to for this master. Yep, right back to Marvel's Daredevil. In the Marvel comics, when Matt Murdock gets blinded by that radioactive accident, a stubborn, brutally strict, and top-tier blind old martial arts master crosses his path to teach him how to fight using the rest of his senses. What's this wise old mentor's name in the Marvel universe? Stick, an old dude who completely wrecks armies of ninjas with just a basic wooden walking stick. Now let's take a look at the Ninja Turtles master, a mutated, wise, kind, yet fiercely authoritative rat who teaches the turtles how to fight. What's his name? Splinter.
Meaning, when it came to picking a name for the mentor, the creators of the Ninja Turtles didn't even bother trying to be extra creative. They saw Daredevil's mentor was named Stick, so they named the Turtles' master Splinter. It's a genius and hilarious piece of wordplay that shows their absolute respect and nod to Marvel Comics. But guys, the joke with Stick and Splinter is just the tip of the iceberg. If we look deeper into the story, we realize the resemblance between these two mentors is no accident. It goes way beyond simple wordplay. Let's compare their training methods. In the Marvel Universe, Master Stick leads a secret order of good guy ninjas whose sole purpose is to fight the evil clan, the Hand. Meanwhile, over in the Turtles universe, Master Splinter gives his students the exact same mission. He trains them so that their main purpose in life is to crush the sinister plans of Shredder and the Foot Clan. The clash between the two factions is literally a carbon copy. The creators of the Ninja Turtles, Eastman and Laird, later officially confessed in interviews saying, "We loved Frank Miller's work on the Daredevil comics. The dark, gritty, rainy, ninja-filled atmosphere of Marvel's New York was so fascinating to us that we wanted to pay homage to that masterpiece. By creating Splinter, they basically gave us an animal, wiser, and honestly a much more lovable version of Marvel's Master Stick. A master who, instead of training a blind kid from New York, now has to raise 4 greedy turtles to take on the most dangerous ninjas in the city." Now guys, putting all this evidence together, a massive and totally logical question is probably spinning in your head. Isn't Marvel this massive, scary corporate giant when it comes to comics and copyrights? Then how on earth did they let 2 random, no-name guys literally copy the radioactive canister, their ninjas, and even the name of their hero's mentor, and make billions of dollars off of it? Why didn't Marvel's lawyers drag them to court and shut them down on day one? Marvel initially thought this comic was just a 2-man joke inside a tiny garage that would be forgotten in no time. But when the first issue of the Ninja Turtles dropped, something happened that nobody saw coming. This independent, gritty, black and white comic blew up like crazy, and every single copy sold out in just a matter of days.
It went way beyond that, and by the late 80s and early 90s, the Ninja Turtles became the most popular and highest-grossing franchise on the planet, ranging from TV animations and video games to a billion-dollar empire of action figure sales. Now, this was the exact moment Marvel could have gotten upset and sued, but why did they stay quiet? This is exactly where Marvel's sharp business mindset comes into play. The first reason was that even though the Ninja Turtles snatched their initial concept from Marvel, they found their own lane incredibly fast. They created brand new characters like Shredder, Casey Jones, and April O'Neil, and pushed a storyline that was practically no longer a Daredevil ripoff. They had built a completely independent universe. From a legal standpoint, proving in court that this new world was still violating Marvel's copyright was a brutally expensive, time-consuming, and almost impossible process. But the second reason, and the ultimate secret behind the scenes, was free advertising. The creators of the Ninja Turtles, Eastman and Laird, would proudly shout out in every single interview, red carpet, and TV show, "We created this work inspired by Frank Miller's Daredevil comics and the Marvel Universe." What did this actually mean? It meant that the more the Ninja Turtles sold and grew in popularity, a massive wave of new young fans got curious to go out and buy Marvel's Daredevil comics too, just to see where the roots of this story came from. Marvel realized that without spending a single cent on marketing, they were riding the coattails of the Turtles' popularity to boost their own comic sales to an all-time high. They figured out that maintaining a friendly media relationship with these four Ninja Turtles brought them way more financial gain and industry prestige than starting a loud, messy courtroom war ever could. All right, guys, that is the story behind one of the most hidden, badass, and genius unofficial crossovers in comic book history, which literally chained the Marvel Universe and the Ninja Turtles together. Now, next time you watch the animated shows or movies of these four brothers, you'll know exactly that the green ooze spilled from the back of the very same truck that turned Matt Murdock into Daredevil. Now, it's your turn. Drop a comment down below and let me know. Did you already know this fact, or did the crazy similarities between the foot and the hand blow your mind, just like it did mine? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments. If you guys show enough love and the hype is there, I'll make a dedicated video breaking down the complete, mind-blowing story of how the Ninja Turtles were created, their dark past, and how they built their entire universe from scratch, piece by piece. Thank you so much for hanging out with me until the very end of this video. Until another mind-blowing video from the comic universe, I'm out. Peace.